Hello, I'm Adrian Vale, and I've been listening to that sound for 58 years. Not literally, of course, though sometimes it feels that way. That persistent knocking, that tapping at the door of right now. You hear it too, don't you? It wakes you at 3 in the morning. It interrupts your coffee. It whispers during conversations with people you love. Tap. What about tomorrow? It asks. What about next week? What about that thing that might happen, could happen, will probably definitely happen? Your anxiety. That's what we call this visitor, this uninvited guest who never seems to leave. But here's what I've learned in my years of wandering through ideas and continents, through philosophies and sleepless nights. Anxiety isn't actually a visitor at all. It's a magician, a con artist, the most elaborate illusion ever performed, and you're both the audience and the assistant being sawed in half. Let me tell you about a morning in Kyoto 7 years ago. I was sitting in a temple garden watching a monk rake gravel into patterns. Perfect circles, perfect lines. And I was anxious, terribly anxious. I had a lecture to give in 3 days. What if I forgot my notes? What if no one came? What if everyone came and I disappointed them all? The monk looked at me and smiled. He pointed at the gravel, then at the sky, then at his rake. Then he went back to work. I didn't understand. Not then. But now I see what he was showing me. The gravel was here. The rake was here. His hands were here. The future lecture. It was nowhere. It was nothing. Let's talk about tomorrow. This fascinating concept. This word we use so casually, as if it's a place we could visit, a thing we could touch. I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow will be better. I'm worried about tomorrow. But have you ever noticed something peculiar? Tomorrow never actually arrives. Think about it. Really think about it. Every single time you've experienced what you previously called tomorrow, what was it actually called when you got there? Today. Always today. Forever today. Eternally, persistently, stubbornly today. Tomorrow is the most successful con in human history. It's a thought pretending to be a place. It's a concept dressed up in the clothes of reality. And it's so convincing that we trade our actual lives, our real, breathing, present lives, for its empty promises and hollow threats. Alan Watts understood this. He'd say that we're living in a world of symbols and mistaking them for reality. We're eating the menu instead of the meal. We're so busy reading the map that we forget to take the journey. Your anxiety about the future is you trying to live in a photograph that hasn't been taken yet. You're attempting to inhabit a room that doesn't exist. And the exhaustion you feel, that's not from the future. That's from the enormous effort of trying to be somewhere that isn't real. I spent 3 months in the Andes once, hiking between villages. And I learned something from the altitude, from the thin air that makes every breath deliberate. You can't breathe tomorrow's air. You can't take tomorrow's steps. You can only breathe this breath. Take this step, and then this one, and then this one. The mountain doesn't care about your plans. It only cares about your presence. Are you here? Are you paying attention? Because if you're not, if you're lost in the fantasy of tomorrow's campsite while climbing today's cliff, well, the mountain has a way of bringing you back to now. Sometimes gently, sometimes not. So if tomorrow doesn't exist, what does? What's actually real? This moment, this breath, These words reaching your ears right now, the temperature of the air on your skin, the quality of light wherever you are, the subtle pressure of your body against whatever surface holds you. This is it. This is all there ever is, all there ever was, all there ever will be. But Adrian, you might say, that's terrifying. If there's only now, what about planning? What about preparation? What about responsibility? Ah, now we're getting somewhere interesting. There's a difference between planning and worrying. A vast difference. Planning happens in the present moment. You sit down now, and you think through possibilities now, and you make decisions now about actions you'll take in future present moments. Worrying is trying to live in those future moments before they arrive. It's trying to solve problems that don't exist yet. It's rehearsing conversations that may never happen. It's fighting battles in a war that hasn't been declared. I remember sitting with a fisherman in Portugal. He was mending his nets, and I asked him, "Don't you worry about the weather tomorrow? About the catch?" He looked at me like I'd asked him if he worried about the color of next Tuesday. "I check the weather now," he said. "I mend the nets now. I prepare the boat now. Tomorrow when it comes, I'll fish then. What else is there? What else is there indeed?" The architecture of now is simple but not easy. It's built on presence, not prediction, on attention, not anticipation, on response, not rehearsal. Think about the last time you were truly absorbed in something, playing music, making love, having a conversation that mattered, creating something with your hands. In those moments, where was your anxiety? Gone. Vanished. Not because the future suddenly became certain, but because you stopped trying to live there. You came home to now, and in now, there is no anxiety. There can't be. Anxiety requires a future to project onto, and the present moment has no screen for that projection. This is why meditation traditions across centuries and continents keep pointing to the same thing. Be here now, not as a moral imperative, not as a spiritual achievement, but as a simple recognition of what's actually true. You are always here. You are always now. You've never been anywhere else. You've never been anywhere else. The question is, do you know it? Let's call anxiety what it really is. A thief, but not the kind that breaks in through windows, the kind you invite through the front door, the kind you offer tea and a comfortable chair. Come in, you say to your worries about tomorrow. Tell me everything that might go wrong. Show me all the disasters that could unfold. Let's rehearse every possible failure. And this thief is clever. It doesn't steal your television or your jewelry. It steals something far more valuable. Your present moment, your actual life, the only life you have. Every minute you spend anxious about tomorrow is a minute of today that you'll never get back. And here's the cruel irony. When tomorrow becomes today, you'll likely spend it worrying about the next tomorrow, and the next, and the next. It's an infinite regression of stolen moments. A pyramid scheme of presence. You're always investing in a future that never pays dividends because by the time it arrives, you've already moved your attention to the next future, the next worry, the next anxiety. I knew a woman in Buenos Aires who spent 30 years worrying about her health. Every ache was cancer. Every cough was the beginning of the end. She lived in a constant state of anxiety about dying. And then, at 65, she had a heart attack, survived it. And you know what she told me in the hospital? Adrian, I wasted my life being afraid of losing it. And now I see I was already losing it. One worried day at a time. The thief had been stealing from her for 3 decades, and she'd been helping him carry the bags. But here's what I want you to understand. You're not a victim in this scenario. You're not powerless. Because the thief can only steal what you give him. And you can stop giving him access anytime you choose. How? By recognizing the con, by seeing through the illusion, by understanding that tomorrow is a concept, not a reality. It's a useful concept for planning, yes, but it's a terrible place to try to live. When you feel anxiety rising, ask yourself, what is actually happening right now? Not in my thoughts about the future, not in my imagination, but right now, in this moment, what is actually occurring? Usually the answer is nothing terrible. You're breathing, you're alive, you're here. The catastrophe is in your head, not in your reality. So how do we live this? How do we actually inhabit the present moment when we've spent years, decades, maybe our entire lives practicing the art of future dwelling? It's simpler than you think, but it requires something our culture doesn't value much. Attention, pure, sustained, unglamorous attention. Start with your breath, not as a meditation technique, though it can be that, but as a reality check. Your breath is always now, always present. You cannot breathe in the past. You cannot breathe in the future. Every breath is an anchor to this moment. When you feel anxiety rising, come back to your breath. Not to calm yourself necessarily, but to locate yourself, to find out where you actually are, which is always here, always now. I spent time with Benedictine monks in France. They have a practice called custody of the senses. It means paying attention to what you're actually sensing, not what you're thinking about. The taste of bread, the feel of stone under your feet, the sound of bells. One monk told me, anxiety is when the mind leaves the body and goes wandering in time. We bring it back by returning to sensation. The body is always in the present. Try it, right now. Feel your feet, feel your hands, feel the air moving in and out of your lungs. Where is anxiety in this experience? It's not in the sensations. It's in the thoughts about the sensations, the stories about what they might mean, the projections about where they might lead. But the sensations themselves, they're just here, just now, just this. Another practice, do one thing at a time. Radical, I know, in our age of multitasking and productivity hacks. But when you eat, eat. When you walk, walk. When you talk to someone, talk to them. Be where you are, do what you're doing. Not because it's virtuous, not because it's spiritual, but because it's the only thing that's actually possible. You can't really do two things at once. You can only split your attention between them, which means you're not fully present for either. And presence is the antidote to anxiety. Not positive thinking, not affirmations, not trying to convince yourself everything will be fine, but simple, direct, unglamorous presence. So we come back to that knocking, that tapping of the future at the door of the present. Here's what I've learned. You don't have to answer it. You don't have to open the door. You don't have to invite that particular guest into your house. The future will come when it comes, and when it does, it will be the present. It will be now, and you'll deal with it then, with whatever resources and wisdom and presence you have in that moment. But right now you have this moment, this breath, this life, this irreplaceable, unrepeatable, absolutely unique instant of existence. Don't trade it for a fantasy. Don't trade it for a worry. Don't trade it for a tomorrow that doesn't exist and never will. Your anxiety is the future knocking at the door of the present. But you don't have to answer. You can stay here, in this room, in this moment, in this life that's actually happening. The knocking will continue. It always does. That's what thoughts do. They knock, they insist, they demand attention. But you can smile the way that monk in Kyoto smiled at me. You can return to your gravel, your rake, your present moment work. You can let the knocking be knocking. Let tomorrow be tomorrow. Let the future remain what it's always been. A useful concept for planning, but a terrible place to try to live. Because here's the secret, the one that took me 58 years and countless miles to understand. You've never lived anywhere but now. You've never been anywhere but here. And you never will. So stop trying to be somewhere else. Stop trying to be someone else. Be here. Be now. Be alive. The door can knock all it wants. You're already home. I'm Adrian Vale. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being now.